America, Daddy Mac. Dance 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
World peace is here.
That's right.
World peace has arrived.
Do not drop those bombs, all caps. Trending on X.
What's funny to me is I went to bed late last night, and there was a thing of like, oh, ceasefire has already been broken. That always anytime there's a ceasefire, there's always this initial like, wait, they didn't honor it. It was 10:01. They're still bombing. But then I woke up this morning. Trump lost his mind at these people, which I'll be honest, I can't blame him a little bit. I mean, it's very frustrating. And he reveals, in my mind, kind of the American versus Middle East region way of thinking about these things, is he like he said this morning, basically, if for those who don't know, like, I'm really mad at Iran. I'm really mad at Israel because basically Iran shot one extra missile after the ceasefire was done. And Israel said, well, we have to respond. And Trump called them and said, no, you don't have to respond. And he said, yeah, we really do have to do it. And so Trump said, the quote was, which I love when Trump does this, the quote was, these two people have been fighting for so long and so hard that they both don't know what the F they're talking about. They don't know what the F they're doing.
Wow.
And F-bomb started trending on Twitter as well.
Did
That's
they?
right.
Did he?
Yes.
So I think that, but then he later said, hey, Israel's not going to bomb anymore. They are gonna send the plane. It's gonna be a little flyby, a little wave, a little plane wave, I think he called it. And they're gonna come home. And so I'm sure the people of Iran are gonna gather outside and just wait for the plane, and just be like, that's me doing an impression of the plane, the plane wave. Like, here it goes.
Yeah, have a good day. Yeah.
That's me doing the plane wave. Yeah. So anyway, but the market liked it. The market liked it.
Troy, isn't it like your two quick things? It's like you tell your kids, listen, you can do an hour on the video games, then you're done, right? Hour and a half later, you go in there, and they're telling you it's only been an hour, and you say, no, I wrote it down. So I think they're very similar. But the thing I thought of, Troy, I know you're big into music. I like music too, but you're actually
Matt's bigger.
Matt's bigger. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
bigger with me. But I think of a Chicagoan BB King. The thrill is gone, and I think
rest in peace.
Yes. But I think of the and I used to watch I would go to the local high school down. His son played when we were living in Westmont. His son, McKinley Morganfield, played basketball for Westmont High School, and he was very good. And I would go over and watch him in honor of BB King, but because he was a good ball player. And I like to watch high school basketball. But the thrill is gone. You think about VIX, the fear is gone, baby. The fear is gone. I mean, we're at 18. If you thought 20 was cheap volatility yesterday, like myself, today the produce has got even cheaper.
That's right.
Yeah,
right.
We're at an 18 handle almost on the, 18.16 on the VIX, down 9%.
Yeah, isn't that something, Matt?
What?
I mean,
my
ceasefire's being broken, market's up 40.
My wife got up. Our kids got up super early this morning, so my wife let me sleep, and she told me when I got up that my wife's a very frugal person, so she loves finding deals at the store, as any good person who
Yeah.
cooks every day does. And so she found very excited to find cheese pizzas for $1 on clearance.
You gotta be kidding
Oh,
me.
which brand?
Which
Didn't get into it with her, but
Okay.
as a brand that she was happy with. And I thought to
Okay.
myself, man, ain't that a VIX day? Ain't that a VIX down day? Just
Oh,
cheese
yeah.
pizzas for $1.
Oh yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a mixed down day. That is, especially if you're like Tony's.
I think it's that equivalent. Yeah, I mean, like,
Tony's are-
I mean,
yeah. So definitely not DiGiorno. Although, if it's DiGiorno,
oh, dude, DiGiorno is. You
It's
can
not
buy
good.
a $12 DiGiorno
oh,
pizza.
first,
easily.
and we have, yeah.
What would you
for
say
sure.
is your?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have a lot of when we were kids. Gold frozen. What's the your go-to best?
I mean, there are bespoke brands that are high end, but DiGiorno has stuffed crust and
Oh, wow.
like all you can spend more on a frozen pizza than you can on Domino's.
Is that
For
right?
sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Domino's is a super interesting case. If you look at the Domino's stock chart, apparently,
don't get me started. Don't do this.
so we have a Domino's like 1 minute from our house, and it is a frequent stop for
It is okay.
a father with children, and
Yeah.
Say no
they
more. Yeah.
Domino's has it figured out, and the market has rewarded them. Man, they have it figured out.
This is a side note. We're about to give you alpha from 15 years ago.
Yeah, follow Bill
amazing-
Ackman on
Yeah,
Domino's.
an amazing amount of alpha from. If you look at a chart of Domino's, if I told you from like 2007 till now, what's the #1 stock, you would have been like, well, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Domino's.
You're serious?
If
Domino's?
you would have bought Domino's, you would be a
You would
legend.
own you would own Domino's.
Yeah, I mean, it
Wow.
outperformed the market, and
Yep.
there's some interesting reasons for it that get into like the philosophy of investing.
Yeah,
In my mind, that they have a lot of return on invested capital. They're very, very good at taking capital and making a return on it, and that's what the best companies do. So,
I mean, for context, now I'm not looking at splits and dividends, any of that, but
I'm not gonna. Sorry to interrupt you, but just do you know the market's up and VIX is down when we've transferred the show to just talking about Domino's? And I love that.
Well,
I love that.
10 years ago, it was $90 and it's 458 now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I don't think they pay a dividend. I don't think they've split at all since then. That's just me looking at a
If I asked you one
chart. Yeah.
Matt and Troy, what one thing? I mean, without getting because it's
Medium 2 topping $5.99 carry out.
Oh,
only.
that's oh wow.
Is that your question?
No question. Medium 2 topping $5.99. Wow.
We are a cheese and pep family, but I will say my weak spot, I do love California Pizza Kitchen. I love a barbecue chicken.
Oh, they were
California
Pizza Kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. When I was a teenager, they had these little frozen ones that were like they were so cheap that they didn't even put them in a box. You just bought them like the pizza.
They were so
Oh, like in the plastic?
Yeah,
Are you
the
talking in
plastic.
the plastic. Yeah.
I crushed those as a
Yeah.
teenager. I destroyed them. You put some ramen, get some frozen pizza.
yeah.
Living
Just-
large.
Mountain Dew red. Anyway, okay,
Totino's for an appetizer.
that's right. So listen, market's doing what it's doing. I thought it'd be a good day to review what we've done because we quietly have been moving some assets across the region the last couple weeks.
You've
this
been
small-
flying some planes.
Yeah, in this small account challenge, we
Been
have
moving
been moving some assets.
Very
And so-
quietly.
Oh, a Mossad agent would be so proud of us.
Oh my goodness.
So proud of us. And so I thought it'd be a good day to show kind of where we're at in the small account challenge, what we've put on, just do a little bit of a review. Because I have a feeling if I look at some of these strike prices, tomorrow's review might be very different than this morning. So I want to look at it in a beautiful state, a tremendous state,
An untouched state. Yeah.
untouched before we have to review it next time. Because I think today's going to be a harder day for some of ours. So,
Yes.
so is that okay with you guys?
Sure.
Let's
Okay.
dive
I love it.
in.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at we're going to look at what is currently open right now. And then we'll go through that and we'll look at what we've closed. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Sure
Okay.
can.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these and just see what we've done. But overall, if you look at it, if this was our all-time ending, day, and we had leveraged everything in our lives to do this, we'd be very happy right now.
Yeah.
Right?
All green.
So all
All
green.
green. Yeah.
So let's take a look at this. Okay. So first we're going to look at the 728. What is the 728? That's one of our recent ones. We put that on when the min short long is 0.2. It's a 728 15 delta. We're going to exit when it's 245 or when we're way blown past. 5 points to the upside, 9 points to the downside. So far, I think we put this on. Yeah, we put this on Friday at noon. So far,
There it is.
2.2%.
Okay.
Not bad. Okay.
Okay.
Let's keep it going. Okay. The 5-7.
Okay.
We 20 delta, 5 day, 7 day.
Yeah.
12.55 every Friday. Got the stop loss below 0.2. Got some leg delta exits. We lost a whopping 1.3% on this trade. June 11th. Put it on that previous Friday. And right now we're up a whopping 1.7%. Okay.
Yes,
So we got
sir.
728. We got the 5-7s. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we got the 1428 VIX down. We literally did this yesterday. This is yesterday's trade that immediately opened. Thank you, Krog Trader. Again, I would like to think that's Kroger Trader, but whatever. And so this is the 1428. This is a floating entry. So anytime the intraday move of VIX is down 1%,
Okay.
you put this on, right? So far, we're up 3.4% pumped into the close yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Let me do this. Okay. A very similar trade that also opened. I think I
Yes.
mentioned this yesterday. It's actually a very, very similar trade, just a different mechanism for opening it. So this is a DC on a 0.6% move. And 20 delta, 923. We're pumping again, 1.6%, right? Okay, let's keep moving. Stephen V's little credit spread.
Stephen V's.
Shout out Stephen V's little credit spread. Oh, the thing I was going to say about BB King. Sorry. Dan, when I went to my first concert, not first concert, but the first concert I ever did something illegal in. My buddy and I, we saw Buddy Guy and BB King together.
Wow.
And there was a VIP section at the end, a line that you could get pictures with them. And we just walked in front of everybody and acted like we worked there. And we walked straight to their room and we got a picture of BB King and Buddy Guy. And I've got them to sign my tickets.
That's incredible. So it worked. You got in their room and
just a bunch of.
You still got those pictures? Can we see them at some point?
Probably
that's a
not.
Special show. Maybe Christmas.
This was pre phone, so this was like a wind up camera. So there's a good chance that there's no way we ever see those pictures. I don't know. But
I mean, I got a scanner.
Well, if I can find it, I'd love to do that.
Christmas.
Okay. Sorry, that was a delineation.
Speaking of Christmas, Troy, let me ask you a question on this one.
Yeah.
You put it on yesterday at 2:30. The market is gapped up 40 points. You are selling a put spread. You are short a put spread. Are you tempted to close this at open?
I thought about this last night. No.
Okay.
And here's why. I say that and I might close it. But here's why.
You got three, what, a little over $3.
Yeah, we would have to have a pretty big gap fill to get anywhere close to that. It could happen for sure. But then two, the more important thing in my mind, the overall structure of my trades actually would benefit from it going down a little bit.
So it's like a hedge kind of.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, now the hedge is gone probably because the hedge is gone. Because I think it's going to have like 20 cents left in the premium. So if it's like under 50 cents premium on open, I might close it, you know? And listen, we go both ways. Like, we want people to trade the plan. You know, if you back test something, trade it. But also, you know, if something's got 5 cents left, you're good. Like, you do what you gotta do.
What'd
like,
you say? If it gets to 50 cents, you might close it?
No, if it gets like, yeah, maybe
because it's at 50
cents
now pre-market.
Yeah, I might. I don't know.
I think it gets. Don't you think it gets to that big discussion, Troy and Matt, that, you know, early in a trade, when you get most of your dough, what do you do? Do you scale out of it? Do you take it? I mean, like here, is that $110 and 32%, assuming the opening?
No,
that was close.
Yesterday.
It's at 50 cents now, so it's going to be at like, you know, a $3.35 credit. It's going to be 50 cents to close it. Now, so here's the interesting thing. We won't do this today on the show, but this is where you can backtest using time actions and or profit actions. So we could backtest an action of a closing order at 80% at 9:35 that then ratchets to go away at 9:36 or whatever we want. And you can actually get some data and see if it's worth it to backtest it. Of course, when you discretionary close like this, which you can certainly do in the platform, you can edit a live strategy, a live trade. You can also just manually close it through the platform using a close trade now. You will be paying additional if there's any slippage and fees and commissions. And some brokers charge that during expiry, some don't. So there's a couple things to think about. It's just an interesting question because, you know, I think a lot of us are tempted when you're selling credit and you see it almost worthless. Is it better to close it or let it ride if it gets there earlier? And the answer is you can backtest it and find out.
Can I bring up one point?
Yes.
And that, you know, to me, I look at, correct me if I'm wrong. So you got about $700 of capital somewhere around there, margin in this, right? This is a 10 wide credit spread. You're bringing about $3. Let's just call it $700. On the $700 in one day, right? Or is this 2 days? One day, you make X percent. But what Matt said, right? It's the credit that you sold for $3.30 is only a half a buck, right? Or something. Another thought that I might consider would be, it's not so. Let's say you had 5 of these on, right? 5 of these on, you got $3,500 of capital in the trade, right? You can only make X amount. Another idea could be pull it, right? And in the next day or two, if we go down, put the capital back to. So it's more, I might look at it more of a capital, right? Are you getting, you know, especially if you had, I'm sorry, I keep seeing it. This is only one day. I am so sorry. I'm so used to looking at put credit spreads like maybe 3 weeks out or 2 weeks out. And for something like that, I would pull it and probably, you know, because I'm looking at the capital at what, you know, I don't have much more to make on that capital over 2 weeks. But for a one day, I'm sorry, I take everything back. I agree with what you guys are saying.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, because duration means something, right? If this isn't 20 days left or 15, this is one day, right? And so again, for it to backtrack and cause problems with this trade, sure, it could happen, but probability, no. I mean, for this thing to get in trouble, we need quite a stinking reversal.
No,
right?
I'll tell you that that's mature Troy. That's Troy living his best life. And I shouldn't tell you this. But hey, YouTube fam, as the kids say, I'm gonna let you guys in on something. What an immature Troy would do in this situation. I'm not gonna do this, but I look at a gap up. I look at these strikes here in the here and now. The strikes of this are 15. I can't read.
95 and 05, and we're
Yeah,
going to open at about
yeah.
60 probably.
We've been at we've struggled to get over those strikes.
I like where you're going with this thought.
This is what I do. This is a dumb little way to do it.
I like
this. You click halt management. You take it from there. You take the pilot's license, and this is what you do. Not financial advice. You buy another $59.95 put. Now, why would you do?
What do you mean? What do you mean another?
So right now you've got a 6,005 put you sold, and a $59.95 put. Just buy one of those little cheap $59.95 puts.
That's interesting. And you could buy it without halting management.
You could just manage that one separate. Yeah. In fact, that's probably what I do is don't let this manage, but then buy another one. So now you just got your net long units to the downside.
You would turn it into a ratio.
Exactly.
Spread.
But again, that's a young Troy. That's a Troy that's overconfident.
Well, I don't have the prices up, but I think buying a put even 60 points out is well over $1. It might be a couple dollars.
Oh yeah, you're giving up profit. Really? You're giving up some profit for that for sure. But
or how about another one where again, you've made most of the money on this. There's only $0.50 left. If you want to do a Troy, so you've got this short put, which is now, you originally sold a 45 delta. Would you guess this delta is maybe 10 or less now?
I would guess, yeah. I would guess that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here you have a put credit spread. Turn it into what call it a time bomb butterfly. Sell the same put, right? Sell one more of those puts and buy a strike 10 points up. Now you're in an extremely cheap time bomb butterfly that,
you're moving.
You're
moving some heavy assets into the region.
Well, and you're and there's more likelihood that thing can hit. Whereas, I mean, either one.
No, I think you're right.
I think it's
it's 60 cents to buy a 10 wide. Long the 15, short the 5, which would turn it into a 10 wide fly at 05. We'll say this: the market does pin 05s quite a bit.
It does. So listen, I think Dan, I think that's a great idea. I'm going to let this one ride or die, except in case I don't, and I just close it at the open. We'll see what happens. But
so this expires.
It expires today,
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
not like a mission critical. Okay.
And we'd have to have quite an
that's right.
Quite a move, much more than you expected for this thing to be threatened the other way. So it's not like you're being irresponsible by saying, I'm going to leave that half put and let it expire. Exactly. I mean, it's
for sure. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Back to the Monday double calendar. This one is the fun one. Right now we're up 6.9%. That's pretty good on a one day, put it on yesterday. Put it on yesterday at 305 and just immediately got almost 7% out of it.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And so this is where the skew comes in, because remember, this really should just be $60, but I did 10 of them. This should just be $18. That'll come into play later because I forgot to do it again, and then I moved it down to 1. So this is going to be skewed, the challenge, but as you can see, it's one, a lot, but you got 21%.
Bob Ross would call that a happy little skew.
It was a happy little skew, happy little accident. So we'll keep going. The Monday, Wednesday, 2-7, and this one is probably more realistic to what the other one should be. So first time lost 2.8%. Second time won 7.5%. Third time won 13.5%, and right now we're up 3.3%. Just putting DCs on all day. just real small account stuff. Just some real small account stuff. Well, what am I going to do with $19? What am I going to do with $42? A lot if you keep adding it up, do it.
Well, and the person, Troy, for a small account, what they're missing is, look at, you're in the game and you're learning a ton, right? Especially if you're reviewing these and just watching along and observing the trades and seeing, why did I make money or why didn't I? I just think wonderful learning, but it's protecting you from your biggest enemy in the world, yourself.
That's right.
Right? You've got, can I use it? Because Matt didn't. You're using how about this? We already talked about the world-class back tester, but you've got world-class rails or risk management. I'm always impressed by that protecting folk when it goes through the shorts or too much of a sag in the middle, which most people aren't going to catch on their own. So that's right. That's right. I just think it's to have 3 or 4 of these on for a small account. You can learn a ton, and it's protection. Yeah. Secret Service.
Well, and I think to Tom's point, I mean, you look at $18 here, $40 here, ramen secured.
Listen, this show is willing to take endorsements from the following: Bob Ross's estate.
Wow.
Ramen noodles, any brand, but Martian. I will say this: Aldi, if you're listening, reach out. Aldi has a protein ramen. It's delicious. The ratios are still not great. They are noodles. They have like 30 carbs and 20 grams of protein, but you crack an egg in there, drop a couple shrimp, or open one of those cans of chicken that smells awful when you open it and tastes kind of like nothing, but that's a lot of protein. So this house is a
protein
house.
Made of protein.
This house is a protein house, but it's also a ramen house, which is predominantly my 9-year-old. But
yeah, I mean, listen, you start, and this is the thing with small account challenge. You get the ramen and you learn to love the ramen. You get the frozen pizza without a box and you learn to love the frozen pizza.
If that's what you know. Because
do you think you're going to go straight to DiGiorno in the small account challenge? Are you
Red Baron would be the other high end.
Oh,
brand.
That's right. Oh, you think the Baron's going to fly around at your house with the small account challenge?
No, you got to start with
Red.
You got to start with Tony's.
As my daughters say, there are levels to this game. There are levels to this, and
words of wisdom.
You enjoy the ramen. So anyway, let's look real quick at what has closed overall. And again, this is going to be skewed, but I think we can do the math. So this is, I think we just did this in June. I think I could do, actually, I'm going to keep the filter on. This is what we've done so far. So,
okay, here's the
do me a favor.
Everybody.
Do me a favor. Someone who's good at math. What's 600 minus 60?
540. Okay. I'm not good at math, but I can do basic math.
Yeah, really any math.
I'm not good at math. 540.
And instead of 180, let's do 18. So someone do the math for me here. 1279 minus 540.
You lost me already.
Yes, minus 162.
Well, we need to put 16 back into it.
Point. Was the 540 the adjustment, or was the 540? So
this is the adjustment. Yeah.
Okay.
540, the adjustment.
I think you're at a 162, right? You said 18, 180. So I'm looking at like 577 if my math is correct. And I used a calculator. I didn't do that in my head, by the way.
Okay. 577. So let's say it's around 500 because this is what we use for. We're not calculator guys, it's what we do. So anyway, let's say it's 500 to be really conservative.
All right.
We started automating this 3 weeks ago. And let's assume that we started with 5,000. We've made 10% in the last couple of weeks.
3 weeks, 10% in 3. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty.
That's the power. And you look at that, you have $15, $17, $40. Yeah. But when you trade, when you keep your risks really small, but you spread out, you don't put everything in one basket. You have the ability to slowly make profit. And it's the best, in my mind, it's the best thing. This is the beauty of the small account challenge is you never look at this on any given day and you never get really worried that you never get really worried because you're never I mean, the biggest loser I've taken so far in the small account challenge was yesterday. Mark Anderson's small account condor, and it was well within range. I mean, I'm up on the trade. I mean,
what a crazy move at the end of the day yesterday that blew
that's
that
right.
thing out. Click on that strategy. Let's look at that one and see how it's done. Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's up right now. But yeah. I mean, there it is.
Yeah,
there it
I mean,
is.
there
in
it
red
is.
and green.
So the thing I love about this is you have not taken anything that's like really hurtful, and you lost 5% on one trade, which you're going to have that happen in a small account, but you're spreading your zones, you're spreading your spots. And because you never are losing so much that you really are hurt by it, the small wins, as long as those are more than those losses that don't hurt much, you're going to be okay. And that's my favorite type of thing. It's like, this is a quiet, like you're just up $500. If you thought, like if someone said, if you were manually doing this and someone said, how's your trading going? I think it'd actually be really difficult to feel good about it. The amount of trades you're doing. Yeah. I mean, you look at this, we've put on a lot of trades. Hold on.
It'd be a Three Stooges.
Oh, 100%.
Doing it manually.
But the fact that you're not having to think about it through automation, to that degree, it's just a quiet 10%. It's just
and the other thing, Troy, is the thing that pops up in my mind is where people are, because there's a lot of occurrences, you're turning the inventory over. It's not like somebody who just trades, I'm going to trade a double calendar once a month, right? The stakes are high. You better win, because if you lose, there's not enough occurrences to bail you out. Here, you're basically doing all of these trades each week, right? To a degree. I mean, depending on volatility, but you're turning it over. So you have more occurrences you could absorb, losers more, but 10% isn't outrageous, because you've put it, basically you've worked that $5,000 4 times. That's in a way.
That's right? Exactly right.
Because you've done it the second week, the third week, whatever. Now, the only thing I'll say is that, and again, I don't think, yes, we were more range bound the last 3 weeks, but there's been some movement. And I think with these trades, many of them are like 15 delta, 20 delta on the shorts. So you've got the probabilities in your favor. I mean, but the 10%, I would say, quoting the famous risk manager, Tom Jones, it's not unusual.
I love that.
There's a little you can say to follow a Tom Jones quote.
No,
we're both lost for words.
I love.
Troy, live appearance, BB King or Tom Jones?
BB King.
You're
King
a guy.
all day.
You're
BB
a guy.
King all day.
Of course.
Yeah,
what am I saying?
For sure. Yeah.
If
I like that
your
question.
wife, it'd be Tom.
And here's the secret. I never ask my wife. That's my anyway. So I think, again, if you have traded options a lot, you're like 10%, that's great. I know I'm going to have down months. You will have down months. But overall, a way to look at this, if you're just now getting into trading, let's say the market averages 10 to 12% a year, right? I think we're 12, which is less. It averages less, but we're up.
Yeah.
I think year to date, or not year to date, month over month, the last 12 months, I think we're up 12% on the market. Okay. You just made 10% in the last 3 weeks. That's the power of diversifying with options and allowing, keeping it small and things like that. So that's why we do it. That's why we've got a show every morning. So guys, listen, tomorrow, there might be missiles, there might be love, there might be missiles and love, depending on the hour. So, we'll just keep trading. We'll just keep going. So I'm excited to see what happens during the day. Hopefully VIX doesn't get down to 10. And we'll go to there. So guys, listen, Have a great trading day, and we will plan on seeing you